welcome back. So we're starting off with this old tumbler that I made last year sometime, and I did an exclusive tutorial for this in the Glitter Ranch. I will do all that I can to link it down below, and you would just have to join the group, and then you would be able to learn, how I did this. But my point is that I had some of these flowers, some of these roses at the bottom. I had those extra in a little basket that I keep, kind of extra water slides and print and cuts, and I just have a hard time throwing them away. And so I found a couple of the roses. I found a big rose and one of the little buds. And I thought, what can I do with this, and what can I do for Valentine's Day? So I went to Pinterest because my friend Mallory has been giving me some ideas to going to Pinterest, and voila! I found this image, and I was like, okay, I can take a bit of this and make something. And so they don't come out exactly, the cup doesn't come out exactly like this, as you can see, but you can see where I kind of got the inspiration for the roses and everything, but I did change it up a little bit. So let's get started. So if you had more roses, or if you were just going to print your own roses, I would have probably used like a 20 ounce, but I was thinking that's only one little small rose, the one big rose, and then like a small rose. And so I thought, let me just use like a 15 ounce or something small, so that it wouldn't look so lost on something, so it's bigger as like a 20 ounce or a 30 ounce or something like that. And I didn't want to print any more. The whole point was to utilize something that I already had. So I took out a 15 ounce cup, and I thought this would be perfect for like when I take my coffee with me to go. I only have like a 12 ounce little thing from the Keurig that I make. And so I thought, well, 15 ounce will be perfect. It's small, it's little, I can, carry it with me. And so I thought this is what I'll do for myself. So I just kind of went from there on the design, from the nails, and then what I wanted to use it for, and all of that. So this is where we are. So anyways, I have cleaned the cup with alcohol so that I can put the vinyl on there. And I'm just wrapping this faux leather vinyl that I got at Joann's, which I'm sure you can either find there, or you can find Hobby Lobby, or you can find on Cricut, or you can find anywhere. I will definitely try to find some kind of link for it. But this is something I bought at Joann's when it was on sale. It was this or that. I always was going in, and before COVID and everything happened, I would always go into the store and just shop around. But then once everything started with not being able to go anywhere, I have all this vinyl that just sits around. So anyways, I have this. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to use this to mimic that gold in the nails. And then when I started putting this on here, I got this like box of chocolates, boudoir kind of feel for the way that it looked. It just looked so rich and like smooth and silky, and I don't know, I just was like, okay, maybe I'm not going to do exactly what I thought I was going to do. I might do something a little bit different. And that's where the whole design kind of came in once I put this vinyl on there. And you've seen me do plenty of vinyl wraps. You can go back to any of my videos. I go into much more detail. I did not worry about this being straight because it was just a one piece, like a one plain faux leather, that was it. So it just would just wrap around. I just trimmed the edges, trimmed the backside piece there, and then trimmed the top, and then used the heat gun for the bottom and pulled that as tight as I could. This was a very tough, a little bit thicker and tougher vinyl than like just a picture vinyl. So when I used the heat gun on the bottom part, it was a little bit harder than anything that I've done so far with the vinyl. And so I would just say, be very careful. Make sure that you don't have, that you're not touching it too much. Let it heat up, and then let it kind of cool down just a tad, because the cup will be hot and the vinyl. So just be careful. I did a lot of heating on this because it was very thick, like I said. And so I just kept heating it, and I had to pull it and pull it and, pull it tight. But the cool thing is that once you do that, it just like molds the vinyl to the cup. I don't know. It's just like, it's just the best thing. I don't know why I never did this, but it helps out so much because I did all that and it looks like it's a hot mess and then it's going to come back up. But I just ran my heat gun over it again and then trimmed all that up and it never moved. It stayed there the whole time I epoxied and everything. And I did the same thing to the top. I just applied some heat there and then I sliced that top part off and just make sure that it is, formed over that edge or around that edge so that we're not going to get any kind of curving or pull up or anything, so that when we do the coat of epoxy, the vinyl does stay on there. And like I said, just trim up that bottom there and that's it. Just pull that off and you're good to go and it'll stay right there. So now we get into the design, and I have not put any coat of epoxy or anything on here. I am just going straight in to all of my applications of the printable vinyl, the vinyl, or the metallic vinyl that I've decided to use as an accent here, and the sparkly red vinyl that I use. Now, if you feel safer, put a coat of epoxy, but honestly, there's no reason that you have to. So, I was trying to figure out the design, and then I realized that I wanted to put one of these leaves at the back side of this so that it kind of looked like it had a leaf there. And if you look at the nail inspiration in the beginning, it had like these kind of outlines of leaves or roses on there. And so that's kind of where I got that inspiration from. So I was taking my time, just kind of figuring out exactly where I wanted certain things to go. And I did make sure that the back side with the line was directly behind what I'm doing here. And sometimes my print and cut, well, most of the time my print and cut sucks. So I was just cutting off some of these excess pieces that left of the white paper so that we could have a good clean look on this rose. And I put some transfer tape on this whole rose thing because the little leaves, I was able to just pick those off and place them on the cup. But this one, I kind of didn't think about it, and I probably should have, but I used some like clear duct tape, like countertop something or other. I don't know. I got it at the Family Dollar, and I just went over and just stuck it right on there where I thought I wanted it to go. And I didn't think that it could have pulled up some of that printable vinyl. And I was so nervous when I realized what I had done. I was like, oh gosh, please come up. But it worked. It was fine. It didn't do anything. But I would be weary of this maybe just in case. But like for me, it's a tutorial. So it worked and it's fine. If it didn't work, I would have tried to do something else or started over or whatever. So just letting y'all know, being honest with you, that I was a little bit nervous. So try maybe not to use such a tacky transfer tape when you do something like that, just in case. So then I made like a 0.10 or I think it was a 0.10 line, and then I made them like 9 inches long, 8 inches long, something like that, because this wasn't a very long cup, but I wanted to be able to, wrap it around and make a design. And so I wanted to make them a little bit longer. So that's why I made them longer than I probably would have if I was just doing lines or straight lines or whatever on this particular cup, because it's so small. So just, think ahead, think about what you're doing, that kind of thing. I think maybe I did it about, no, I think it was 9 inches. I think it was 9 inches because I tried to use it on something else and it was too small. So, but the 9 inches on this was perfect. So as you can see there, I just started off with the back, I just covered up that seam because you could tell that there was a seam there, although it's a one piece, but because it's so thick, there was like an evident seam. So I said, well, I'm just going to start there, and that'll be my middle of the road, right? So that I'll start there, I'll do one stripe, and then I will just carry it on and just kind of see what happens. And that's what I did. It was really a lot of fun because I was like, oh, if I put one here and then I bring it down into the middle, and then so this is something that you could definitely have a good time with, make your own little design. And it was really giving me like almost, like I said, the gold was like a box of chocolates, but when I started putting the stripes on, I was like, oh, this is kind of like giving me bourgeois kind of sexy lingerie kind of feel to it. So it definitely reads Valentine's is my point. So, but I love the idea of using some excess things that you have, like you have extra vinyl, or you have, maybe you have some pinstripes that you have just sitting around, or maybe you have an old print and cut rose that you kept. And it's like, I'm going to take it from there, see what my inspiration can be, and then, create something awesome. So I liked what I had at this point, but I really thought that I needed something going all the way around. And so this is when I took it and did it from the back and kind of was like, okay, I'm going to do a line going all the way around and kind of cut these, cut them where they need to be, right? And this is when I realized that I was not exactly lined up with this other line here. So that's just things when you're trying to do something like this that you kind of have to take into consideration. I wasn't measuring anything. I wasn't doing anything by the book, if you will. I was just kind of going with the flow and whatever I felt. So this might be something that might happen to you, is basically what I'm saying. You can't tell, you don't know. It's like, oh, I need that line to fit into that other line so that it looks, kosher, geometric, whatever you want to say, however you want to say it. So I just picked up that line and just redid it. No big deal. No harm, no foul. And then I took another line and I was like, okay, let me see where that goes. And that's all I did. I just kind of, like I said, just kind of went with the flow. So as you can see, I added one more tiny line in between that little triangle there in the front. And it kept wanting to come up, but I managed to push it down and keep it, stay down there. Anyways, I covered this entire thing in Mod Podge. I know some of y'all probably cringe at this, but it's so perfect. It's so perfect. There's no bubbles. There's no nothing. There was no repelling, nothing. The epoxy went on smooth, no problem, no bubbles. It was great. And all I had to do was continue to put on coats of epoxy, sand the bottom, I added a little red vinyl piece at the bottom just to cover up that nasty mess. But this was my cup, so it was just this was just an inspirational type of thing. So I wasn't too worried about the official bottom, but this would be something that you might think about. Maybe put some glitter or put the extra vinyl on there or something like that. However you want to finish it, tape it off, paint it, something like that. This is what I had. I just had the cup in mind. Did not have the full, the whole thing in mind. So it just kind of became what it was. So, but I love it. I love the way that it ended up. It's really something very unique that I didn't think would come about, but it did. And like I said, I added 2 coats of epoxy. After this, after I added everything, that was it. It was like one and done, as they say. I did everything in one day, all of that, and then I just put coats of epoxy on for the next couple of days. Did some sanding in between, did the sanding the bottom, put the little red circle on the bottom, and that was it. I had a finished, beautiful cup. Probably 3 coats of epoxy at the end. I think it was about 3 or 4, but I might have, if I was doing this for a sale or something, I would definitely have sanded it down and done a little bit more to the bottom and added another coat of epoxy. And there she is, so pretty. Doesn't it just look like you could just pop it open and there would be chocolate inside? Anyways, I just love it. So I was very pleased with it. The rose looks stunning underneath the epoxy. It just looks like you just encased a real rose in there. It's so gorgeous. I will try to link all of the things down below. I cannot guarantee that there will be, that I will find everything, but I will try, and I will definitely try to help you all out. Anyways, if you recreate this or this gives you inspiration, please tag me in whatever social media you use. Please join my group down below. Please check out Mallory, Made by Manny and Mal. Mallory Pagnotis, she is amazing, and she's the one that kind of got me started with this inspiration of Pinterest. And I'm in her elite group, her Patreon group, and it's amazing. So anyways, I just want to give her a little shout out. Hello, Mallory. Love you. Anyways, thank you guys. Please like and subscribe and comment down below. And I will see you next time.